something more than this. There's gotta be something more than this. There must be something more than this. There's gotta be something more than this. There must be something more than this. There's gotta be something more than this. There must be something more than this. There's gotta be something more than this. There must be something more than this. There gotta be something more than this. There must be something more than this. There's gotta be something more than this. There must be something more than this. There's gotta be something more than this. There must be something more than this. There's gotta be something more. There's gotta be something more than this. There must be something more than this. There's gotta be something more than this.
Let's hear for Thomas Williams, our lead. Wow. And Rick Fortner, and David Smith, and all our great musicians and singers. Wow, we are vibrating with Love and Light. I can feel it. I can feel it. It's almost, I can almost touch it. I can feel the vibration. I mean, with a song like that, it elevates the vibration in our bodies and in our room and between us and around us. And so there is this vibration of love and light in this place right now. In our bodies, can you feel it? The vibration of love and life. You know, sometimes we say that someone has good vibes. I mean, you may not say that. I say that sometimes. But you know, it's more than just, we're not just saying, oh, that person has a nice smile or they have a calm voice. We feel something when we're in each other's presence. Just as we're feeling something right now because we're together. A vibration, an energy. Now, it's high right now because of that song. But it's also because we've been singing together. We've been clapping together. We've been sitting together. We've been vibrating together for half an hour now. They say that heartbeats synchronize in a rhythm together when people are singing or people are meditating together. Sometimes I think of coming to All Souls on Sunday morning as my weekly bath in love and light. I mean, all week I'm washing my hands in it, I'm soaking my feet in it, but when we come together on Sunday morning, it's a full-on bath in love and light. Now, our services also fill my head with ideas and with questions to ponder, and I crave that too. But today, I want to especially think about how it helps us to calibrate or elevate our energy or our frequency or the vibration of our being. The question that I'm asking today is there something more? Now, the subject was given to me by Ryan and Sarah Darby, who won at our auction last year, our Love and Light Gala last year, the ability to choose a song and a sermon topic for a Sunday morning. And so about a couple weeks ago, my wife and I had Ryan and Sarah over for dinner. I love to cook, they love to eat, so it was a great combination. And we sat and we talked about, what do you think? What song, what service, what's on your heart? What are you thinking and feeling? And this question came up, is there more? It just kept coming up in different discussions. Yeah, but then, is there more? The song you just heard came from one of their favorite bands, Phish. That's with a PH, Phish. Do we have any other Phish fans in the crowd? All right, we got some folks. I think after that rendition, though, Thomas, we're going to have a whole bunch of new Phish aficionados. That's with a PH. With a PH. But they're what's known as a jam band, which means that in their concerts, they take a song like that, a 4-minute song, they'll stretch it out to 20 minutes or more with improvisation and all kinds of different elements that they'll weave into the song. And it's if you've ever been to a concert like that, of a jam band like the Grateful Dead or Phish or one of those, it's almost like they hypnotize you, or they certainly mesmerize the crowd of concert goers, and there's this collective energy that gets created. It's palpable. It's as if, everybody's feeling it, and you can sense it. And then there might be a particular note that a guitar player, strikes, and all of a sudden you can feel this ripple of energy go through thousands of people who are dancing and singing and moving together in a huge auditorium or an outdoor amphitheater. There's something about what gets created in these concerts, in these moments, that we could call spiritual. Many people do call it spiritual. And now I realize that for some concert goers, this feeling is enhanced by certain mind-altering substances. But however a person taps into it, one of the reasons that certain bands and certain concerts have enormous followings of people who will travel to other states and go and buy tickets and see the show 2 or 3 times in a row is because the experience is exhilarating, but it's more than that. There's something profound about being with a group of people and sharing an experience that's uplifting emotionally and also makes us feel connected with others. So we're vibrating together. Because we're experiencing it right now. We're elevated and stimulated by the music and the words, by being in each other's presence and sharing a heightened sense of consciousness. It raises our vibration. Now, we know that people have spiritual experiences outside of religion, just as we know that, there's people who have religious experiences that aren't very spiritual. But when the spiritual happens within the context of a religious community, wow, when they both come together, there's something truly special. When I say a spiritual experience, an experience that elevates us in consciousness and in energy and some emotional feeling that lifts us and makes us feel connected with others and with all of life. When that comes together within a community, that's something else. Because when this concert is over, we can have a spiritual experience outside of community, but when the concert is over, or the sun sets, or we come down off the mountain, there's no people around who could help us when we need it. Like when we lose our job, or lose our sobriety, or lose our sense of meaning. Or like when Michael and Alicia were on their way home from a concert, and they're driving, and she had an aneurysm. And Michael got her to the nearest hospital as quickly as he could, but he was scared out of his mind. He was confused. He was terrified. He was all alone in the waiting room as the doctors did what they could to save her life. He explains, I didn't have the phone numbers of any of the people who I was just at the concert with to help. I didn't know anybody there. We had bonded over some, with hundreds of people dancing with a shared sense of our humanity and a joy of being alive. But there was no one or no way to organize the connection and the affection that we felt to make the world a better place, or to allow us to become a lasting community of insight and of service and of healing. No place to go to take the words of the music and the feeling that was created and turn it into something that's real and sustained and sustainable. Thankfully, Alicia survived and is doing great. And they went on to have some children. And once they had children, they decided that they wanted to pass on to their children more than just a love of music and a way of dancing and a way of being, but they wanted to pass on to them a way of being in community and being of service to the world. And that's why we create communities like All Souls, because we want to combine that spiritual experience of connection and raising our consciousness and being uplifted with a community of people who promise to be here for each other in good times and in bad. We make a place to come and experience it on a weekly basis. So we don't have to just experience it once in a while with a concert ticket, but we can come and experience this every week. It's more than just an elevation or a vibration. It's purposeful. It is a form of love and loving. And so it's love that unites us here and not belief. So we have a church that allows people to put whatever words that they need to upon the experience that they have of the holy or the sacred or this energy. So people have many beliefs, right? These are secondary to the experiences that generate the belief. So one person might say, oh man, the Holy Spirit was present at that Phish concert. Did you feel that? Man, the Spirit was alive. And someone else might say, well, I don't know about the Holy Spirit, but there was an amazing feeling of unity and joy. And someone else might say, well, I felt at times like I had disappeared, become one with everything and everyone. It was amazing. And one person might say, well, that's God. And someone else might say that, well, that's you were in the zone, dude, in the zone, man. And someone else would say, well, it's like the Buddha said about samadhi, when you feel this sense of oneness with all that exists. Someone else might say, man, that's just the way good music and dancing makes you feel. The point is that people's beliefs about what they've experienced in life are different depending on who the person is. So we all give different names to it, different explanations for it, but what unites us is that core experience of what we call here love beyond belief. So we have a church where people can put their own words and experiences on it without being told that they're wrong. And we don't try to proselytize to others and convince others, no, that's not the way to say it. You got to say it this way. You got to do it this way. So when we had dinner with Ryan and Sarah, Ryan had just returned from a canoe trip that he takes, an annual canoe trip that he takes in the Ozarks every year with his son and some friends. It's an annual trip, and it's something that he's been doing for years. He started doing it some years ago with his friend Andy, who he's known since second grade, great friends. And even after Andy moved to San Francisco, they stayed very close, and so every year Andy would come back and they would go on this canoe trip together. After 9 years in a row of doing this, they were discussing on their 10th year the possibility of going down the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon. But then in December of that year, 2014, Andy suddenly died unexpectedly of a severe asthma attack. Ryan was devastated. Ryan had lost his mother when he was 5 years old, so he was not unacquainted with loss and grief. So the following summer, Andy's brother decided to join Ryan on the trip for the first time. And Ryan decided to bring his son, Cullen, who was 8 years old at the time, for the first time to go on this trip. And on their drive down, Ryan and Cullen were driving together, and they said, we need to do something to remember Andy while we're out there on the river. What should we do? And they were trying to figure it out, and they made a stop, and they were selling roses, and they bought a couple dozen roses, and they took off all the petals, and they put them in a bag, and they put them with their stuff for later as they drove. And they were inspired in this by a ritual that they had done earlier in the year for Sarah's brother who had died, and they spread his ashes on a lake, and they threw flower petals on the water as they spread the ashes. So on the second day of the canoe trip, at a special place on the river, Ryan and Cullen pulled out the flower petals, and they told the story of this ritual that they'd had with Sarah's brother and his ashes, and they all joined in spreading the rose petals on the water. And they just floated along and spread out along the water out there under the beautiful sky. And it was a profound and gorgeous moment. It was really an incredible thing. And in a real and palpable way, Andy was there in that moment with them as they did that ritual. Even after someone dies, there's more. It's never really over, even when it's all over, as the song says. Andy was there in that moment, and everyone felt his presence, just as Andy is here right now in this service as I tell this story. We can feel something as we invoke his name. Now, I have no doubt that we have different beliefs about what that means when I say Andy is here. Some may believe in an actual presence of some spiritual capacity, like a soul or an energy. Others may believe he's present in our thoughts and in our memories as we hear about him. Some may believe that our feelings and affection for all the people who we've loved and lost that get enlivened by the story create some sense of collective presence in this moment. What I want us to understand is that it's the feeling that is primary, and what we believe about it is secondary. Our beliefs about what happens to us are shaped by our experiences, by our culture, by our language. So it makes sense that different people would describe in different ways what they experience about life and death and spirituality. All Souls is a community that makes room for us to honor people's own ways of making sense of what's at the center of their lives. Rather than telling everyone that there's only one way, and this is what it means, and this is what's happening. As the Chinese philosopher Chang Tzu said in our reading this morning, it's as if our beliefs are like living in a well full of water, and sometimes we think it's the ocean. It's wet. We've experienced it. So we think that it's the experience for all people. But he says, beyond our beliefs, there's an ocean larger than we can fully comprehend or put into words. So he encourages us not to make the mistake of thinking that our well is the ocean. So on this summer trip, Ryan and his son this year on the summer trip. Ryan and his son said, what are we going to do? I want to do something else. And so they bought 9 paper lanterns. You know those ones that they come with like a little candle and you light it and it's like a hot air balloon that floats up into the sky? 9 for 1 year, one of each year that Andy was with them on the trip. And so one evening when the wind was still and the sky was bright, they lit and let go of these lanterns and watched them glowing and floating up into the air. Vibrating with love and with light. Friends, we are walking what Michael Meade calls the pathless path. He says that the various religions, they lead people along a path to discover the deepest truths about themselves and about their lives. But for many people, it comes to a point in which the path that they're on religiously or philosophically becomes too small to contain their experience. And when this happens, many people come to the point where they realize they need to step beyond what they've been taught and what they're learning within their tradition. And when a person reaches this point, they step off the path and enter the pathless path, if you will. It's when we begin to realize that on some level, we have to chart our own course. It's a path that's deeply honest about what's really going on inside of us, what we really care about, what really matters, and what we've really experienced. And it's one where we tune into our own experience and we're open to the truths that we find there. So what Unitarian Universalism and All Souls is a way to be on the pathless path in community, so that we can surround ourselves with love and light. We can have experiences that uplift us and connect us, that stimulate us intellectually and feed us emotionally and spiritually, and do it freely, but do it in community. Because a person's spirituality and philosophy is very personal, but life is not a solo act. We need one another. I need you. I need you to live a full and meaningful life, because it's not a solo journey. And we need each other in important ways. So this is our factory of love and light, where we make love all the time. It is our workshop, the workshop of our common endeavor of our lives with our children and our parents and each other. It's a studio for our minds and our spirits to create meaning and to learn how to love and be loved. There's a love and a light that's more than our individual experience. There's a love and a light that is vibrating from us that even death cannot extinguish. There is a love and a light that continues even when the path we're on disappears. There is nothing more than the present moment. Right now, right here, we are vibrating with love and light. I love you. Amen.
More than you'll know, more than you know, Church of my heart, I love you so. Lately I find you're on my mind more than you know. Whether you're right, whether I'm wrong, church of my heart, I'll string along. I need you so, more than you'll ever know. Love beyond belief is the way. There's something we can do about it, don't you think? Loving may be all we can give, and people cannot do without it. Oh, how I'd cry, oh, how I'd cry if you got tired and said bye-bye. More than you know, more than you'll ever know.
We're so happy you're visiting with us online today. We love connecting with people all across the country and around the world, sharing our powerful message of love beyond belief.
There's something new happening here. You can now join All Souls as a virtual member. Our virtual membership is designed for friends who live outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and who want to engage with All Souls in a meaningful way.
You can be part of an expanding family, a global family really, wherever you are. If you live in Oklahoma,
Ohio,
or Orange County, California,
Canada,
or Cameroon. By becoming a virtual member, you'll be able to deepen your connections with members and friends here in Tulsa and with members wherever you are.
Each week, you'll receive special All Souls content tailored for you, our virtual members. Virtual members have access to pastoral care, to personal prayers, and also receive invitations to exclusive web events.
You can learn more, and if you're ready, you can become a virtual member today by visiting allsoulschurch.org/virtual membership.
We're grateful our ministries are having a positive impact on your life, and we want to share the good news of love beyond belief with more and more people. So no matter what, we need your support to keep this ministry growing and thriving, so please consider making a gift today. You can do so by texting
Love BB for Love Beyond Belief to 73256, or simply visit our website. You are a blessing in our lives. May you be blessed
and be a blessing.